This is the second part of a tutorial that shows how to make a paintball hitting targets with physics game. In this part, I'll show you how to set up the Blend for Web project, and I'll go through the key points of the JavaScript code that controls the game. The starting point for this tutorial is the Blender file made in the first part. You can download the file from my website, or you can make a similar file yourself. In Render Properties, click Project Manager, click Hide Stock Projects and Create New Project. I'm going to call the project My Paintball 1, scroll down and click Create Project. When you see project created, click back to projects. Click the Edit link and open the JavaScript file, the .js file. Here I have the finished JavaScript file open in a text editor. You can download the file from my website. I've put the extra modules, my constants and my global variables together so that they are easy to copy. Click, right click and paste. Scrolling down to the end of the file, in the load callback function there is a comment, place your code here. Finding the same point in the finished code, there are calls to two functions that need to be copied over. Click, right click and paste. Notice also that I do not enable the camera controls by making the line into a comment. Next, we need to copy over the two functions. Highlight, right click, copy, click, right click, paste. I copied all the functions over, and there were more than two functions, but I'll say more about that when I go through the code. Click Save and back to projects. Next, we need to overwrite the dummy Blender file and use the Blender file to overwrite the dummy JSON file. Going back to Blender, File, Save As, go to the Blend for Web folder, the Projects folder, the My Paintball 1 folder, the Blender folder, click on the file and click Save As to overwrite it. To overwrite the dummy JSON file, File, Export, Blend for Web JSON. Make sure you're in the Paintball project Assets folder, click on the JSON file and click Export to overwrite it. Go back to Project Manager, click the link for the HTML web page and hope that it all works. The scene loaded, but the game didn't play properly. Displaying the web console, I'm in Firefox web browser. The error message is no physics for object camera. Going back to Blender, for the ray test to work, the camera must have its physics set. And one other thing I forgot to do, for the decal scaling to work, I need to click Apply Scale and Modifiers. To save the changes and to update the JSON file at the same time, File, Export, Blend for Web JSON, Export. Next, I'm going to look at the code in the JavaScript file. The key point that this tutorial demonstrates is in the init logic function. The function comes from the raytest code snippet, and it adds a decal, a paint splat graphic, to an object that's clicked on. When the event of a mouse click is detected, the raytest callback function is called. When the mouse is clicked, if an object is hit, the object is passed into obj_hit. If no object is hit, obj_hit is null. If the hit object's name property includes the string Coke or includes the string target, then this code is executed. The hit object must be one of the Coke cans or one of the targets, and we disable the physics simulation for the hit object. Now the object's velocity is not controlled by the physics engine, we can control it with code, giving it a value of 55 in the y direction. We can also set an angular velocity which makes the object spin. With the velocities set, we can hand control of the object back to the physics engine, and so the Coke cans and the targets fly off into the distance when clicked on. If the object hit is one of the Coke cans, then the score is incremented, 1 is added to the score, else it must be one of the targets and 2 is added to the score, and the score display is updated. Every time a mouse down event occurs, the mouse callback function is called. In the mouse callback function, a raytest is appended, which results in the raytest callback function being called. I decided to design the game so that it started with the first click of the mouse. At the beginning of the game, timer started is set to false. The exclamation mark is the not operator, so not timer started will be true. So with the first mouse click, the condition is true. There is a call to the timer function that starts the timer. Timer started is set to true, so on the next mouse click, the timer isn't started again. So with the first mouse click, the game starts and the initial value of score is displayed. Score is set to 0 initially. I did say that every time the mouse callback function is called, a raytest is appended. That is true provided not timeout. Timeout is set to true in the timer function. A timer is created using the setInterval method that calls the myTimer function every 1000 milliseconds, which is every second. In the myTimer function, the timer display is updated. Every second, seconds is incremented until it reaches 10, the current value of total time. So after 10 seconds, clear interval clears the timer and timeout is set to true. End of game messages are displayed and the animation of the blocks is stopped. I'm going to end the tutorial there. I'll put all the files used in the tutorial for you to download at my website. To visit my website, click the eye icon in the top right hand corner. To subscribe, click the stickman. To sponsor my tutorials, click the Patreon link. Thanks for watching and goodbye.